Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas Eve. It is Matt here with OddsJam, here to give you some last-minute bets to lock in, specifically for the 1 p.m. Eastern NFL betting slate. Today is basically like a normal NFL Sunday in terms of the number of games we have. So tons of options to choose from. Let's get right into it. The first play that I'm going to go ahead and lock in here is the Cincinnati Bengals first quarter spread -0.5, basically saying they are winning at the end of the first quarter. A little bit risky with the first quarter bet, understandably, but the math here checks out, and that's obviously the most important thing. So OddsJam calculates the true line of this, the OddsJam perfect line, to be at about +116.5. So these numbers are pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world. OddsJam back tested thousands of betting opportunities, just trying to determine historically over the course of time what sports books are consistently the best at pricing odds, and then uses those sports books to set the market moving forward. So takes all this data from the previous betting opportunities and applies it to future betting opportunities. And then also what OddsJam does is it's constantly scanning lines, pulling millions and millions of data points of real-time odds from all of the major sports books, spitting out opportunities where a sports book is giving you more favorable odds than the no-vig line. And that's exactly what we have here. So it's a pretty good play. Cincinnati Bengals first quarter spread -0.5, +125 at BetMGM, obviously in the Bengals versus Patriots game. So if you look at where all the other sports books price it, the closest book is Bookmaker at +118. And then we have Pinnacle down at +115. And then we tied, I should say, with Caesars and Betfred, and every book is below that. So PointsBet at +110, BetOnline at +103, sportsbetting.ag at +103 as well. So when you're looking at the positive expected value page, you want to compare the bet that you are placing to the rest of the betting market. You're just trying to understand whether you are getting an outlier or not, an outlier from the rest of the sports books or not. The reason for this is you kind of got to think about it just in terms of like the most logical scenario. So we have what here? So OddsJam and the Pinnacle line are the same. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. It's always good counting on everybody loves to watch a man count. So there's 6 sports books, right, that price this. If 5 of them are priced one way and one of them is opposite from that, is an outlier, not necessarily opposite, but an outlier to that, the most likely scenario here, the most logical solution is that one sports book is just having a mispriced odds. In this case, the mispriced is in your favor because they're offering you a higher payout. So all of these sports books deem this play as more likely to occur than the BetMGM line. We're just placing bets that we know as a sports bettor is going to hit at a higher rate than the odds that we are betting it at, in this case, at BetMGM. We know that this should be priced at +116. BetMGM is giving this to us at +125. That's a mathematically profitable play. This is the first one. So this one, I only put a half of a unit on it, which for me is only $50. Like I said, the variance of a first quarter play is obviously a little bit risky. So it's definitely not a McSlam by any means. So I just put a half unit on this one. The next play that I also put a half unit on, unfortunately the odds changed, so this one no longer counts. Let me go ahead and give this page a refresh, make sure I'm working with the most up-to-date lines. And some odds popped up. So this is one I did take. Desmond Ridder over 139.5 passing yards. This is at +104 at Caesars. The no-vig odds has this at about -104.5, almost exactly -104.5. So pretty decent gap between these two numbers. Another reason why I like it. So we're getting this at +104, right? Plus money means that if you win 50% of your bets and you're betting plus money, then you're profiting money. And we are determining that based on all the sharp sports books, that this bet is actually going to hit more than 50% of the time. So if you click this calculator, pulls up the win percentage. So this bet is actually going to win 51% of the time, and we are getting +104 odds. That signifies a win percentage of below 50%. So this is another really good play. And then situations like this, for like passing yards as high as this, what you want to do is view this event page, and I can close out of some tabs here. You want to view the event page in a new tab. The reason for this, so right now we see odds from 3 sports books, and they're all 3 really good to confirm. Pinnacle at -135, BetOnline at -120, and DraftKings at -115. Every single sports book either has it at 50-50, which DraftKings does, or heavily favors it going over, which BetOnline and then Pinnacle does at an even higher rate. But we know that odds are going to be different across sportsbooks, right? What that also means is that not every single sportsbook is going to price his over-under at 139.5, right? So we want to see, okay, where does every other sportsbook price the over-under itself? And if you open this up in a new tab, we can see that. So we got over 139.5. So it's kind of a mixed bag, right? We see some sportsbooks price it at 138.5. That would be FanDuel. And then we see this sportsbook right here is Prize Picks. These two are Prize Picks. Price it at 135.5. So if you use Prize Picks, a DFS company, this is a really good over to hit, over 135.5 for Desmond Ridder. And then we see the sports books that we were looking at price this at 139.5. But majority of them, if they don't have it at 139.5, we see 3 different sports books price it above this number. We see 140.5 at PointsBet and Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight being another daily fantasy sports company. And then we see Underdog Fantasy, another DFS one, and Betfred price this at 141.5. So 4 sports books total price it above the 139.5. And again, we are getting it for plus money. And then the books that price it lower, it's really just FanDuel and then a DFS one. FanDuel prices it 1 yard lower, but they price it at minus 110. So we're getting 1 yard, which a 1 yard difference isn't as meaningful going from 138.5 to 139.5 than it is from like 10 to 11, right? We're getting 14 cents of better juice just by going up 1 yard. So this is a really good play here. This Caesars one at plus 104 odds. This is my second play to lock in. First player prop, second play. The next one that I really like is Jerick McKinnon over 25.5 receiving yards. This is obviously in the Seahawks versus Chiefs game. And then I guess I will say, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. When you're scanning through the OddsJam positive EV page, you want to the play that you are actually going to lock in is the one that's bolded with the highlight around it, right? With this little highlight around it. This is the play that you are actually betting. So Desmond Ridder over 139.5 passing yards. And then here we have Jerick McKinnon over 25.5 receiving yards. So this is at minus 110 at BetMGM. Caesars has it at minus 148. Pinnacle has it actually at the lowest at minus 125. And then DraftKings has it all the way up at minus 145. But again, not every book is going to price it at 25.5. So let's view this event page and let's see where every other sports book prices it. So this is a situation where looks like one book prices it at 22.5. That would be Betfred. This book right here is Betfred. As you can see now, this is Betfred. But majority of sports books price it above this amount. That includes this book right here, which is BetOnline. BetOnline, again, is another sharp sports book that we're looking at. They price it 2 yards higher at 27.5, and they heavily favor it going over. So not only do they think his over-under should be priced at 27.5, again, 2 yards higher, they price it significantly higher, significantly more expensive at minus 130. So, and then Bet Rivers is this book right here. We see Bet Rivers prices this at minus 118, also at 27.5, under at minus 110, favoring the over. And then PointsBet and FanDuel have this at 30.5, 5 yards higher, and PointsBet still favors it going over. And 5 yards going from 25 to 30, that's a huge deal. That's like a quarter of a difference, right? Or a fifth of a difference, depending on how you want to just calculate that statistically. That's a huge deal, going from 25.5 to 30.5. So this is another really good play. Over 25.5 receiving yards, Jerick McKinnon, minus 110 at BetMGM. Also, a really good play on Underdog. If you use Underdog, his over 24.5 as well is a really good play. So that's my third betting pick for this video. And then another one that I liked, you have to sacrifice some juice here at minus 140 odds, but this is a really good play. So the Novig line prices this at about minus 150, so 13 cents higher than the minus 140 that PointsBet is giving us. And then again, same thing. Look across every other sports book. The closest book is 40 yards higher, or 40 cents higher at minus 180. BetOnline has it at minus 182, Pinnacle at minus 187, Caesars at minus 194. So every sportsbook is 40 to 54 cents higher than this minus 140 at PointsBet, giving this bet over a 60% chance of hitting based on the OddsJam perfect line. And that's another thing that I probably should have mentioned. All odds, and I find this fascinating coming from math, like my previous background, all odds have an inherent win percentage associated with them. So whenever sportsbooks are pricing odds in general, all they're doing is saying, okay, based on our algorithm and our model, this bet hit X% of the time. Then they just convert those to odds, and that's how odds are made. That's how babies are made. So you can calculate the win percentage that a sportsbook is giving a bet if you know the odds. So in this case, minus 153 equates to a win percentage of above 60%. That's really good. Now, obviously, we're paying for that with the minus 140 odds, but this is still a really good play. So this is my fourth betting pick for you guys to lock in. And then the last one, another non-player prop, excuse me, Patriots point spread plus 2.5. So I know I took the Bengals first quarter spread. This is the full game, and those two really aren't that representative of each other. And they're both really good plays, and they're also both for plus money. So Patriots plus 2.5, plus 124 at Betfred. No vig line prices this at about plus 119 if we want to round up. And then if you look at the rest of the sportsbooks odds range, all the way from minus 103 to plus 115. So pretty good range, but the closest book is 9 yards lower at BetMGM. And then we see Pinnacle at plus 114, DraftKings at all the way down at plus 102. And then, like I said, all the way down to minus 103. So this is another really good play here. Patriots point spread plus 2.5 as my fifth bet for you guys to lock in for the 1 p.m. slate. And that's going to be it. So a lot of bets for you guys to tail. If you are tailing these, comment and let me know. I would love to hear it. Other than that, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Share with your friends, and have a good one.